Hey yo, what is going on guys? Cash and Clean here, and for today's video I just wanted to do more of like an experiment type thing, and I've been getting asked this a lot, like how much light do you need to solo for Crystal 4 farms and all that stuff, so I'm just going to be going over that for today. So we'll just go straight into this. At the moment I have 6.7k light on my candy barb, and I have 487,000 coefficient. Now in your guys' case, by the time you reach this light, you're gonna have way more coefficient than this. At least I hope. I'm most definitely certain that you'll have way more coefficient than this. This is just how much damage I do. My candy barb here is just built for health pretty much, which I will change later on, but I guess we'll see as time goes. But I have 6.7k light, and I'm just gonna go damage an enemy. This is Uber 10. We're in depth 117. So I'm just gonna go find an enemy and see how much damage I'll do. I'll just find a group right here. As you can see, I'm doing a little bit of damage. It's kind of hard to fight them because these mobs kind of just go away from you and you just, I don't know, knock back to deal with and everything. But as you can see, I am soloing this. Like, I can just fight them. It's not part of the objective to fight these, but I'm just showing you guys. So with having hardly any damage, but just purely 6.7k light, you can pretty much solo this. Like, I'll just do this monolith real quick. I'll just drag the enemies here and I'll just start damaging them. It's going to take me a little bit of time, but it is doable. And this is just with the candy barb. So if you had like an ice age, this would go way smoother. So I'm just going to do a bit of damage here, and by the time I get to the next monolith, I'll just take off something that has light, and then I'll show you guys how much damage I do with that. Alright, so I made it to the next monolith. This one's going to be a little bit tricky because they can sometimes fall down there. It's going to be a little bit more harder to fight them, but I'm just going to take off some light for my character. I'm just going to take off the ring, and I'll take off my banner. So now I have 6k light. I have 100k less coefficient, so we'll just see how much damage I do now with 6k light. So I'm just going to do some damage here. Doesn't seem like a whole lot changed. These enemies are a little bit tougher than the last ones I just fought, so we have to keep note of that as well. But it is doable. If you had another class like Ice Age, for example, this would go like super easily. I'm just going to drag them all down here actually, and I can just use my ultimate here, just do a little bit more damage, more attack speed with that ultimate. And as you can see, it's pretty doable so far. So I'm going to lower my light a little bit more going on to the next monolith, and I'll see you guys over there in a second. Alright, we made it to the next monolith here, and I'm just going to try to find some more things to take off. I could just take off the gems. That's just going to be too much work because I need regenerators. So I'm just going to go with the hat. So we're at 5.2k. Actually, I'm just going to take off the face as well. Let's see how we do with 4.3k light this time. Coefficient is still about 355k, so I just took off pretty much everything. So the only thing that's giving me light right now is just this weapon and the gems that I have here. So I'm just going to use this, and I'm going to drag them all here. Let's see how much damage I do. So I'm not doing a whole lot of damage, but I am getting the job done. It's still pretty doable. Like, you can definitely farm 117 if you have this much light. And I'm sure you'll have way more coefficient than I do, so this is going to go way easier for you guys. So if you're just about 2,000 light, or if you have something like that, you guys can make it. You guys, honestly, you have so much potential. I'm just showing you guys like with the worst case scenario, because I have a character with just all health pretty much. So you guys can do way better than this, but you guys get the idea. And last but not least, so we have 4.3k light. We also have like a minute left, so I'm just going to quickly take off a gem. Why not? I'll take off the Battle Berserker because that one actually increases our light. So let's just see what happens with 3.9k. No Battle Berserker, just a couple Cosmics. And yeah, same coefficient pretty much. So this one's going a little bit more tougher, but maybe we can just get the job done. As you can see, I am doing a little bit of damage here. And as the timer is approaching 0, I don't know if I'll actually complete this in time. Maybe I can just pop a flask, but I don't really have anything important here. I guess I can just get my ultimate here. Doesn't look like I'll meet the objective time, but like I mentioned earlier, you guys are gonna have way better classes than I am. Like, you'll probably have a different class than Candy Barb, or even if you are using Candy Barb, your coefficient will be way higher. So since my Candy Barb is a physical damage class, I could have just replaced Unyielding with the Martial Emblem here, so I could do more physical damage, which would raise my coefficient a lot more, so as you can see. But I'm actually going to do that. I'm going to put on the Martial Emblem here, and I'm just going to stay at 3.9k light. I have no Battle Berserker, and I'm going to fight the boss who happens to be at depth 117, just to show you guys what the damage would look like if you're doing delves at this range here. And this is just solo, so if you guys had a group of friends, this would go a little bit easier. So I'm just going to activate the crystal. We're going to fight the enemy. As you can see, I'm hardly doing any damage. I'll just drop my ice cream here. I'll hit Q, just do a little bit of extra damage. Yeah, as you can see, 99.82%. I'm not doing a whole lot of damage. So having this much light and coefficient isn't the best. So I'm just going to put on some gear, actually. So that brought me up to 5.9k. Let's see how much damage I do now. So I'm gonna hit Q. As you can see, I'm doing a little bit more, which is nice, but it's still taking me a while. And if I just put on Battle Berserker and if I put on the banner that I have here, so I go back to my 7.5k light. Well, actually, that's just for my Battle Berserker, but I have 7k light. The HP for the boss is going down a little bit more quicker, but it is still taking me a bit of time. But I'm just showing you guys an example. So with 7k light and having like no coefficient, it does take a little bit more time. You'll have way more damage if you reach this light. So this is just like an example. Like I said earlier, I have literally no crit damage and I have not too much physical damage. I'm up there, but not that much up there. So anyway, you guys get the point. I did not that much damage at all, but I'm sure you guys will do way better. I was just showing you guys an example. And just to let you guys know, if you farm 117 through 128, it's going to be pretty much the same thing. Some enemies might have more darkness, some enemies might be easier to fight. You're just going to have to keep that in mind. You have to also keep in mind the variables that you have here. I have a mod that lets you hover over these things to let you know like what's going on. But yeah, that's pretty much the main things I wanted to cover in this video. Hopefully you have enjoyed. Drop a like, subscribe if you are brand new to the channel, and I will see you all later.